Hi everybody, it's CraftyRia and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to recycle some Christmas cards. Of course, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I just can't get enough of recycling Christmas cards. Today I'm going to show you how to make this little box out of a recycled Christmas card. You can use any size Christmas card you want. It can be square or rectangle. Does not matter. I'm going to show you how to do it two different ways, and you can, like I said, use any box. You need no special measurements. It's pretty easy. So let's get started. Set that aside. I'm going to go ahead and use this card. One thing that you will be careful about, or you will need to be careful about, is you're going to want a centralized picture, because only the center part is going to be on the top of the card. A lot of the the edge of the card is going to be folded over. So you don't want anything that would any image that wouldn't look good folded over, and you don't want to start with a card that's too small unless you want a really tiny box. These boxes are great for jewelry, maybe a bracelet or a necklace, or a couple rolls of lifesavers. I don't know if they'd fit, or some candies. This box would be really great to give as a gift for coworkers with some candy in it or whatever. And then, like I said, it's a recycled card. Now, if you don't like the words in here that were inside the card, you can always line that with a little piece of paper. I don't mind it. I think it's kind of cute. So let's get started. I'm going to show you two different ways to make the card. The first one is I will call it the easy way, because you really need no special tools and you don't need any special tools, I guess. I don't know what I was going to say. And you don't need to make any special measurements. That's what I meant. I'm going to go ahead and use my paper trimmer. You can cut it with scissors if you don't have a paper trimmer. And I'm going to cut the card in half where the fold is. I'm going to cut the front just on this side of the fold so it has a clean edge. And you can also use scissors if you have scissors, and just make your cut as straight as you can. Or you can use a ruler and a craft knife. And then I'm going to set this aside. And since the back is the same size as the front, we're going to need to cut the back down 1/4 inch on two sides. So I'm going to cut off that fold and cut off about 1/4 inch. It doesn't have to be exact, just eyeball about 1/4 inch. The reason being is we want to make the bottom of the box a little smaller than the top, so the top easily fits over the bottom. Now this card is pretty thick cardstock, which is great for a box, but then it's not so great once you see what I do with it. So you're going to take the inside, which you're going to use as the inside of the box, and have that piece facing up. You need a ruler that's long enough to measure the diagonal of the longest side of the card, and a pencil. You're just going to line up the ruler from corner to corner and make a line in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. And then you're going to do it the other way. What you're doing is finding the very center of the card. And then you just really need that center X. I'm going to do the same on the bottom of the card. Okay, so I have my center X there. Let me get my bone folder. You don't have to have a bone folder. You can use anything. You can even use the edge of your ruler to get a nice straight fold. You're going to want something to crease the fold, the side of a pen, the side of your pencil, anything to get a nice fold. I happen to have a bone folder, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the long side of your card and fold it in to that corner of the X. And this is where it gets a little hard. You're going to want to work your cardstock a little bit because it's kind of a thick cardstock. You're going to line up your sides here because you want this fold to be pretty straight. And then use your bone folder or whatever you have to make a really nice crease. And you want to crease that really well and then straighten it out. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Bring that cardstock right up to the center of that X. And then use your bone folder and flatten it out. So your card is folded right up to that X. Then flatten it out, and you're going to do the same thing going this way. You're going to fold this right up to the center of that X. And here's where it gets a little hard. Usually the paper only likes to fold in one direction, and you can see how this is getting very wrinkled. You're going to take your bone folder and you're going to push it down. You're going to do the best you can with it. If you have a thinner cardstock, it might be a little bit easier. Again, I'm going to do this a little bit to try to relax some of the fibers. And then again, you're going to fold that. Carol Duvall would be really upset because she always says, score before folding. So anyway, we have this shape, and you're going to do the same thing on the front of the card. And usually paper is such that it folds and tears in one direction much easier than the other direction. I get less creases on this long side. It's just because of the way the direction of the fibers in the paper. But it's still, I'm going to say it's not very easy to fold. I'm going to do the same on this short sides. And again, it's a little harder to fold that in, but you do want to crease it down really, really good. Okay, so we have that. Now you can remove your pencil marks because they will be on the inside and they will show. So you just want to erase your pencil marks. If you wanted to cut a piece of paper to line this, you could take your measurement of it now and see what size paper you would need. I'm not going to line it, but you get that idea. And even if before you fold the box, if you wanted to glue your piece of paper there, that would be a good time to do it. You're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut in these long slits here. You're just going to cut right along that fold. Just a nice straight cut right up to there because you're going to make flaps. You're going to do the same on all four sides. And then I'm going to do the same for the top of the card. And just cut these four pieces right along that fold. Doesn't have to be perfect. These are going to get folded in and you won't see this edge. So then your box is going to kind of come together like this. So you're going to take your adhesive. I'm going to use art glitter glue. You can use any kind of glue that you like, whatever your favorite glue is. And you're going to put it on this part of the flap. This, in my case, it's the shiny side. So you're just going to put some glue on each piece of this flap. I like the wet glue rather than tape because it gives you a little more time to work it. You're going to stand it up straight and you're going to fold this up. I always squeeze it in on the side here to make sure it's nice and straight. And I'm going to push that down real good. This glue dries pretty fast, so it'll be okay. And then you're going to do the same thing on these two pieces. You're going to put some glue on each piece. If you were using double-sided tape, you would tape all pieces, I think, first, and then fold it up. Alright, so you have this extra piece sticking up. And what you're going to do is fold it over, but to make the fold a little cleaner, I'm going to take my scoring tool and I'm going to score right along that edge there. I'm just going to press it down on the table and give that a little bit of a score because then it'll fold over much easier. And then I'm going to crease that in as good as I can on both edges. And that gives that folded up edge a nice clean edge. Put some glue on that. I'm going to fold it in and just hold it down for just a few seconds to let that glue dry. Alright, I'm going to do it again on this side in case you missed any of it. I'm going to go ahead and use tape on this one to show you how I would do that. So I would turn it over and I want to put tape on these four edges here, these four flaps. So I would just take my double-sided tape and just put it on there. And since it's laying flat, I will do all four sides. And stand up one side of it just like I did before and pull that up. And then do the same thing over here. And then I would do it the same way. Make that little bit of a crease. And I'm not sure if I can get my tape there. Yeah, I guess well, not really. It's a little harder to put your tape on this. Okay, I got it on there. It's a little harder that way. And then fold it over. Use your bone folder to really crease it down. And do the same thing on this side. Alright, so then we have the top of the box and the bottom of the box, and it fits together, and you have yourself a really cool box for a Christmas gift. So I'm going to show you another way to make the box. This box ended up not being too bad. The creases don't look bad. They were hard to fold. kind of cramps your hand up. They're not the best creases you have. I'm very anal about creasing paper, so I'm going to show you the way I do it. Again, starting out with the same card. No worry too much about measurements, but I'll show you a little trick. I'm going to cut the card the same way. I'm going to cut the top off, the front off, just on the outside of that fold. And then I'm going to cut the bottom about 1/4 inch smaller on two sides, an L-shaped side. That way it's 1/8 inch smaller all the way around. So you can see that it is just a little bit smaller. So I like easy, oh, I almost knocked my camera over. I like really easy measurements. So I'm going to take the top and I'm going to decide what size box I want and how much I want to fold in. My guess is going to be 1 inch on each side and 1.5 inches this way. You want this measurement to be a little bit bigger so you have that little lip to fold over like we did before, so you have that little bit of a lip there. It just gives you a cleaner look. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it here and look and see where I would be. If I did 1 inch, I would have a little white border here, but I wouldn't have it on the bottom. Well, actually, if I did 1 inch, I would not have it, and then 1.5 inches would be here. And it would go to there. 1.5 inches would go to, let me mark it off for you here so you can see better. Would go to there, and then 1 inch on the bottom would go to there. I think I still have room. Good. I don't want any of the white to show on the top of the box. So I'm going to do 1 inch this way and 1.5 inches this way. I'm going to get my scoring board. And I am going to put my card on here and I'm going to score on the long sides 1 inch. And I don't know if you can see, but that's where it is. So you don't need to mark anything with a pencil. Just put it in there and just give it a nice score at 1 inch. And then I'm going to turn it this way on the short sides and I'm going to score at 1.5 inches. And then that piece is going to be what the top of the box is going to look like. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the bottom. I'm going to score this at 1 inch on each long side. And then on the short sides, I'm going to score it at 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. You can, like I said, eye up your card and pick any measurements you want. Although you do want these pieces to be a little bit longer than these pieces. Alright, so then I'm going to get my scissors and do the same thing I did before and just cut these long pieces to make my flaps. On all 4 sides. This piece I cut over the line a little bit, so I'm just going to take a little piece off there. You can debulk them if you do want to make these flaps. If you do want to make them a little smaller, you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and crease all of my folds, and as you can see, by having them scored even on this really thick card, it scores real easy. I should have done this before I cut them, but it still works fine. And I'll show you what I mean about these pieces. You can take some of the bulk off of these if you wanted to just miter them in a little bit like that off of those flaps. But it is not necessary to do that. These fold up and crease in really nicely. Like I said, you can make any measurements you want. I probably wouldn't make it smaller than an inch because that would give you a really small, a really shallow box. All right. We have both of these pieces. I'll go ahead and put some of the glue on these flaps again like I did before. And this time they don't actually touch in the middle or overlap, but that's okay. You have this whole piece that covers that side, so that's not a big deal. Do the same thing on this side. You can use any kind of white glue, school glue or tacky glue, Elmer's glue, whatever you have around your house. And then I'm going to do the same way I did on the other side. I'm going to take my bone folder and make a crease right along the edge there. And fold this down. And this is important on these cards to fold down because the two pieces do not meet in the middle. Put some glue in here. This art glitter glue is great because it's good for thin paper, but you can use a thicker glue. I'll even get it out. The Aleene's Tacky Glue. This here, I love this glue for embellishments and other things. It is really, really nice. You can get it at the Dollar Tree, and I think the bottle is this size at the Dollar Tree. I store mine upside down. I use it on so many things. It's very inexpensive. It dries clear and it holds well. It's my favorite white glue for things that are a little thicker than paper. Art glitter glue is great for thinner paper. It doesn't dry quite as fast as art glitter glue. It dries, it's your typical white glue. So I wouldn't put a whole lot of pressure on something for a little while. It does dry pretty fast though. Hold that up. And then I will take my bone folder and do the same thing as I did before. Make a little crease just so that folds over. And see, it doesn't dry quite as fast, so I'm going to go ahead and use the art glitter glue on this other piece to hold it down. Otherwise I would clamp it, because because the art glitter glue will dry really fast. You can use like a Tombow glue or a double-sided tape, or just put a little clothespin on there to hold it while it dries. I got this idea of making my own size card. I've known how to make them with the X. Last night I had sold a little tiny pin, and I think it was a naval pin, on eBay. I got it at a garage sale for about $1, and it was some USS Navy ship. I don't remember the name of it. And I sold it on eBay for $10. And I wanted to put it in a really cute gift box. So I took one of these cards, I have a lot of them, and I measured the size I wanted, and then used that to determine how much to fold in. I trimmed down the card and I made a box about that big. It was perfect. And then I got the idea that I would come here and show you guys how to make these boxes. And I thought by scoring it and folding it first, it made it a lot easier, and your folds are nice and clean. And there you go, you have that box. The inside is a little too small on this one. I probably got a little crazy with cutting it 1/4 of an inch too small. Or yeah, but anyway, there you go. You get the idea. You have this, and you have the inside. So you can make boxes of any size, of any shape, using your recycled Christmas cards, birthday cards, or just pieces of rectangle cardstock if you have them around, junk mail, whatever. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please leave me a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Subscribe to my channel. You'll see all kinds of things. If you can think of an idea that you would do with these boxes, let me know. You could probably even do cards of different sizes and make nesting boxes. That would be kind of cool too. Thanks again for watching, and if you haven't already checked out my Facebook group, Create with CraftyRia, head on over there because we're having lots of fun in that group. You guys take care, and I hope to see you in the next video. Now go get crafting. Bye-bye.